Hey everyone, welcome back to another installment of the season preview of NHL teams this season, all 31 of them. We just found out that there's going to be 56 games. It's a tentative agreement, 56 game schedule for the NHL, and I think that's a little shorter than I was expecting, but really I don't think anyone was expecting a full 82, but I was hoping maybe for 68, maybe 70 was pushing it, but either way, we have hockey, so who am I to complain? Today's season preview is going to be on the Carolina Hurricanes, and Carolina has really turned around their organization in the last few years. They struck gold with Sebastian Aho. He was a second-round pick, and he is the face of the franchise and probably future captain. And it's amazing because Carolina was such a horribly run franchise for a while, and they couldn't get fans to come, along with just year after year of failure. And now you look at the team and how excited their fans are, and they're some of the best fans in the league, and they have the storm surge, whether you like it or not. It just shows the turnaround of Carolina as an organization. And every year there was always talk about them relocating, and hopefully that never comes up again, because clearly Carolina is better for the league when they are better. So they finished 35, 25, and 5 last year, and they swept the New York Rangers in 3 games of the qualifying round, and eventually lost to the Boston Bruins. Now, they had a really good season. They were probably on pace for around 45 wins if the season wasn't cut short, and likely they wouldn't have faced the Bruins in the first round if it was a regular year. But with the play-in round, it added a whole new variable and factor of how the playoffs worked and who would advance to the next round. So they should be proud of themselves, because the Bruins are always a really good team, and they lost to them before in the Eastern Conference Final in 2019, so they are starting to become a thorn in the side. And maybe it's payback for years ago when Carolina beat the Boston Bruins and they advanced to the Eastern Conference Final. Now, obviously, one of the biggest things that people think about when they think Carolina is Andrei Svechnikov. He is obviously known for his lacrosse-style goals, the 2 of them. But if you watch him, and as I do watch him being on a team that the Leafs play a lot, he's a lot more than just the guy who scores the lacrosse-style goals. He's very intelligent. He's a really good power forward, and he doesn't look like an Eric Lindros type of power forward, but he looks like a normal size, almost like an Austin Matthews size if you were to compare. But he knows how to throw the body around. He knows how to be a playmaker, and he's definitely becoming the player that they saw when they drafted him out of Barrie, but I think he's becoming even more, reaching potential and opening parts of his hockey game that he probably didn't even realize he had. It just took the coaching at the NHL level to really open up those avenues for him. Now, they didn't really have any big subtractions from their roster. Joel Edmondson was one of the biggest ones, and the addition that was the most noteworthy was Jesper Fast. He came over from the New York Rangers, and he played with Artemi Panarin on the first line and with Strome. So he has been able to play those responsible first line minutes. He's not a really flashy guy. He just knows what to do on the ice when he's on the ice, and that's why he gets a lot of time in different situations on the ice. So his ice time is going to be pretty formidable in Carolina, I'd say, because he has the chance to be a top 6 forward if they need to call on him. But he's probably going to be slotted into the third line on the wing. Now, the biggest question, and probably the only question that really faces the Carolina Hurricanes, is their goaltending going to hold up? So they're going with the duo of Peter Mrazek and James Reimer again. Both of those goalies have shown the ability to carry the load for longer periods of time, and I'd say Mrazek probably has the edge over Reimer due to the fact that his time in Detroit, where he went to the playoffs and battled against Tampa Bay Lightning, and they had a couple matchups in a couple years, he was praised a little bit more by the media. Meanwhile, James Reimer, everyone remembers his time in Toronto. He was always kind of beat on for when he did things that weren't seen in the eyes of Toronto as good, and also his time in Florida. The Panthers management really liked James Reimer, especially when Luongo wasn't retired, but he was injured, and then when he did retire, it became Reimer's net, and it really showed that they needed an upgrade, which actually led Florida to pursue Sergei Bobrovsky. Now that's going to be the only question, really, because you look at their lineup and their defense is the deepest in the league, in my opinion, and their forward core is great. They could roll the lines, but the goaltending is going to need to be there. And as I read earlier today, it was said that they did have the opportunity to pursue Braden Holtby and Corey Crawford. Holtby going over to the Vancouver Canucks and Crawford going to the New Jersey Devils. That's something that may bite them in the butt, and they may turn around and come to regret. So we'll have to see what happens with Carolina. But I'm going to predict, as I think everyone else would in the Eastern Conference, that the Carolina Hurricanes will make the playoffs. It would take something very detrimental and hard for them to not make the playoffs, and they play a style of game that makes it so they don't rely on the goaltender as much. So really, if they did lose a goalie, I think they would still get by. So that's the season preview for the Carolina Hurricanes. I will be doing the next one tomorrow. So thanks everyone for coming by. Don't forget to hit like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.